You have heard it said that goal setting is sometimes just like throwing a bunch of spaghetti on the wall. If you throw enough out there, you hope something sticks. But we say, dare to be different. Very good. We say, dare to be different. I say, clarify your core values first. So my husband and I, we decided to start a business. We have the core value of good financial stewardship, meaning just we want to be a good manager of all that has been entrusted to us from a financial aspect. So we decided to buy a business, build it up, and then sell it for a profit. We had a 5-year goal to do that, and we actually did it in 4. So I share that with you not to brag, but to tell you that everything that I'm sharing with you today, I've lived it. So it's not just some research or some tips and techniques that I think might work, it's something that I've done myself. So we sold the business, and we're still married, by the way. Can I have an amen for that one? Okay, so we're still married. We decided to go on a 30-day road trip up the eastern coast of the United States and then back to southern Canada, that's where my husband's from, and then back through the central part of the U.S. So 30 days, that's going to take some planning. Would y'all agree? Okay, who's familiar with the AAA triptych? Okay, several of you. So if you're not familiar with the AAA triptych, what it actually is AAA took the entire map of the United States, actually in Canada, and they cut it down into these little bite-sized pieces. And then that way they bind it together so that you just have to look at a segment of the map instead of folding out a big giant map to try to, go on your path. So I actually have my original one here, and if I have any millennials in the room, I want you to know that this is the original GPS, baby. Right here, this is what it was. There was no electronic, remember this? So basically my husband and I were traveling up in Massachusetts, and we're looking at the trees. I mean, it's during the fall, and just all the gorgeous colors are coming out. Now, I don't know if y'all have been to Florida in the fall, but all we have is pine trees and palm trees. Not real exciting. Pine trees and palm trees, that's all we've got. So we are just mesmerized with all the beauty. And so there's a billboard, and it says, toll booth 10 miles ahead. And we just keep driving. I've got my camera out and I'm taking pictures, and just brilliant reds, brilliant golds, brilliant oranges. I mean, it's just, the sun was just the perfect time of day. It reminds me of that, the painter, who's the painter of light? What's that guy? Thomas Kincaid. It looked like a Thomas Kincaid painting. It was gorgeous. And so again, toll booth, 5 miles ahead, be prepared. And we're still looking and oohing and ahhing at all the variety. And next thing you know, again, toll booth, half a mile ahead. And what do you think we do when we get to the toll booth?
Start looking for money.
And then we start looking for change, Kristen. So there we are. We scramble for the change, even though they warned us 10 miles back. We give it to the lady. The big arm goes up, and right there it is. It is a huge fork in the highway. So my husband goes, well, which way do we go? Which way do we go? So I grab the triptych and I'm like, go left, go left. Well, it was the wrong way. The challenge is the next exit was 30 miles down the highway. So we had to go 30 miles down the highway, turn around, come back, go through the toll booth 2 more times to figure out that we needed to go right. So, and actually, I was giving this presentation a few weeks ago, and the guy comes up to me afterward, and he goes, I'm from Massachusetts. It's exit number 2. All righty then. He says it's the longest distance between 2 exits in the entire state. But see, what had happened is I failed to look at this little compass on my GPS. And my triptych, and if I had looked at that, I would have known that I needed to be looking at the map this way. Y'all, that's the way it is with our lives. So if we don't have our compass pointed in the right direction, if we don't know definitively where the organization is going, then guess what we do? We we flounder, we take detours. It costs us additional time, resources, and money because we've not clearly defined what is the direction that we're headed. And I believe we have to define our personal core values first, and that translates into our professional core values and what we bring to the table with our companies. So if we don't know what that is, we tend to detour. But once we have that clarified, then guess what? It's so much easier to know what to say yes to. And then when that new fad training program comes out that doesn't fit the culture of your organization, you go back to the boss and say, wait a minute, boss, this says our core values are X, our family. And if we start having training programs on the weekend and asking people to take time away from their family, that's a disconnect between the core values of our organization. Do you see the difference? So what I want you to do is just take a few minutes. Most of you know what your core values are, but have maybe never taken the time really to write those down and identify them. So I want you to take just a minute and circle 5 to 10 core values that are meaningful to you personally. So what's the core value? Non-negotiable. That defining moment, that thing they put on your tombstone, the things they say to you about you at your eulogy. Jan was all about X. So what are those things that define you, those non-negotiables in your life? Take just a moment now.